Alliance for the Brave, a program that advocates for our active military, veterans, and first responders. Presented by Gear Services Web Design. Alliance for the Brave, serving and empowering those who serve our great country in the line of duty. Tune in, join in, and plug in with us around the globe. Welcome to Alliance for the Brave.
In the air everywhere across America, you're listening to Alliance for the Brave, where we bring education, information, and communication to today's veterans, active duty military, first responders, and American patriots who'll come on board with us to talk about how we can make everything better for everybody in this nation and reunite the nation and reunite veterans with the nation. So I'm Jim Blythe, a certified senior advisor. I'm a U.S. Navy veteran, and joining me, my co-host today and co-host from the very beginning, one of my close friends coming back to join us, Chuck Wright, U.S. Marine, certified financial planner, absolutely great guy too, even though he is a Marine. Good morning, Marine.
Good morning, Dallas, Texas. Well, I guess you're international now. So
yeah, that's right.
We're big time on me.
We are big time. You and I started this with Robin Valtudo, goodness gracious, almost 7 years ago. Chuck, one of the things that I want to talk about today is retirement planning, financial planning, and getting down the road, because I see so many people who are seniors, who are baby boomers, who all of a sudden their whole world is destroyed. They've lost their job because of COVID. They don't have enough reserves. They don't know what to do. They don't know what's going on. So one of the first things I want to talk about is one of the smartest things you can do is tune in, plug in, and get involved in veteran service organizations to be able to network. And without a doubt, you are the most plugged in guy I know. So tell us a little bit about some of the things that you're working on. First of all, Wreathes across America, I love. So tell us a little bit about that, buddy.
Wow. You just said about 8 different things. So let's start with Wreathes across America, which is an incredible program. It is, in fact, an international program. It started at Arlington National Cemetery. But the motto of Wreathes across America is remember, honor, teach. Remember our fallen veterans. Honor their service. But the most important piece is to teach our children and our grandchildren. And on the 18th of December, all around the world, we are going to lay wreaths. In our case, we're going to do it at DFW National Cemetery. We invite everybody to come out and join us. It is an incredible tribute. It's a very moving experience. You and I have shared some really good times out there. We got to meet Mary Bush, and Mary and her husband, Chris Bush, founded the DFW program. Love them to death. She was also part of my Gold Star Family Monument that is a tribute to the family members that we installed up in Frisco. But we're going to be out there. If you want to come out and join us, you're more than welcome. Please try to get there by 9:30. Parking, but it's just not set up to have. We'll probably have 5,000 people there to 10,000 people doing wreaths, maybe more. And we lay wreaths on the gravesite. One of the things that we say, every stone has a name, every name has a story. And we ask people to lay the wreath, read the name out loud, read what is on the headstone, and it's amazing that person's story starts to come to life. And as a slight aside, I found out that we have the Texas Veterans Hall of Fame in Denton, and you and I are going to have to make a trip up there to see this. It's fairly new. But one of the things they're doing is they're using the QR codes, and they're putting a little plaque next to the gravestone to actually share that person's entire story. And I think that's going to be really cool. But that's a little bit of a one-off. But we invite everybody to come up, join us. Now, here's the other thing, and here's my ask of the morning. We are only about halfway to having all of the grave sites covered. Our deadline is November 30th. We are asking your listeners if they will just sponsor one wreath, a $15 wreath. It will make a huge difference so that every veteran is honored. You can go to DFW Wreaths, so 2 W's, DFW.com, and there will be a sponsor link button right in the middle of the page. Hit that button, sponsor a wreath. I had one lady yesterday who called me and said, Chuck, I'm sponsoring 100 wreaths. We're not asking people to do that. You know, if you'll just do one or 3 or 5. But if you'll just do one, it will make a huge difference. DFWWreaths.com. And you can find us on Facebook, the same address, DFW Wreaths. Come by, like the page, read some of the stories. I'm trying to get some of those who have family members buried at the DFW National Cemetery to come on, post some pictures, share the stories, talk about your father or your uncle. In Mary Bush's case, and let's tell Mary Bush's story, she lost her son, Peter Corsi, in Iraq, which is what motivated her to start it. He is interned at the very top of the cemetery, and I say that because from there the view is absolutely beautiful. Believe it or not, this is one of the prettiest locations in Dallas.
It
is. To think of Dallas is being very flat. For those who don't know where the DFW National Cemetery is, it is immediately east of Dallas Baptist University, which is second. Well, give TCU some credit, but I'm gonna go out on a limb, and Dallas Baptist University is second only to SMU in terms of being your classic college campus, and it's just absolutely beautiful. It's a beautiful piece of land. Michelle and I have discussed that may very well be where we are interned one day. And I'm going to go off on another side note. If you are a veteran, an honorably discharged veteran, you are eligible to be buried at one of our national cemeteries. If you have a spouse, they are eligible to be buried with you, or if they predecease you, like several of my friends, they can go ahead and be buried, and they will wait on you to join them. I didn't realize this until recently. In fact, I found out when we were discussing, I finally brought it up with my mother, and she said, oh, no, I'm going to be buried with Dad. And I went, I didn't know you could do that. So a little bit of information for all of our veteran spouses out there. Family does like to stay together, and that's just one of the things that one of the things we're going to talk about today is the things the VA will do for you, and this is one of them. Texas has 4 national cemeteries: Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, where my father is interned, and out in El Paso. We also have 4 state cemeteries. We're supporting a DFW cemetery. DFWWreaths.com, if you'll consider sponsoring a $15 wreath and getting us to the point where we've got 100% of the over 46,000 veterans whose final resting place is here in Dallas.
Hey, Chuck, I lost
yes, sir.
12 brothers in Vietnam that were pilots on VA 163, my squadron. So I tell you what, I'm going to donate 12 wreaths, one for each one of my pilots. And so I challenge, here I am a Navy, you are a Marine, I challenge my Army brothers and sisters, I challenge people across America to go to dfwwreaths.com and hit that sponsor link. I'm going to do it because this is something I'm very thankful for, is the men and women who have served. Chuck, let's give that out again, the DFWWreathes.com, correct?
Yes, that is correct. 2 W's.
And I think another thing that I'm really thankful for is all of your service, because here we are in the Thanksgiving season. One of the things that you do is you work with the Texas Veterans Commission. What a lot of people don't know is in every county in the state of Texas that has a population greater than 125,000, there is a county veteran service officer who is paid by the Texas Veterans Commission to help you navigate the VA healthcare system, the VA benefit system, help you get there from here. It's free. It's paid for by the Texas Veterans Commission. And the guys who do this are real pros, like James Henderson here in Dallas, who runs our veteran service group. So there is an easy way. There is an easy way for you to get veterans benefits if you want them. And I send people there all the time, and they call me up and say, wow, we tried and we tried and we tried till we got with your county veteran service officer, and we got it done. And I have seen those guys do what I thought was a miracle overnight. So again, go to your county veteran service officer. Chuck, what do you do with the Texas Veterans Commission?
So I want to correct you right quick, and because it is a little bit of a bone of contention in the state, the county veteran service officers are actually, it's an unfunded mandate from the state, and they're actually paid for by the county.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Unfortunately, that has led to a little bit of inconsistency, shall we say. Some of the counties are, I'm gonna pick on Denton County. They do an absolutely outstanding job. They took the commitment on and said, you know what, we don't care if we're getting money from the state or not. We'll take care of our veterans. But I cannot stress enough, if you are looking for veteran benefits, your first call needs to be to the county veteran service officer. The first thing they will do is make sure that you are plugged into the system. They can get you assistance, and we'll talk about this more as the show goes on. It's not just VA medical benefits or VA disability ratings. Those tend to be two of the more popular. But there are VA educational programs. There are VA hiring programs, and in the state, a lot of that is done in conjunction with the Texas Workforce Commission. These are absolutely great assets. And like I say, I think Denton has built the model of how a county has stepped up and said, we're going to support our veterans. But that absolutely needs to be one of our first calls. So I am I am honored to say that I am the vice chair of the Fund for Veteran Assistance. And the Fund for Veteran Assistance, in fact, we're going in December for a training meeting down in Austin. But we meet about 3 times a year. And part of your lottery money goes to support our veterans. And last year, we allocated $30 million in grants to both veteran service organizations in Texas and to organizations, United Way of Tarrant County, Easter Seals, Catholic Charities, Salvation Army. Now, these are not just blanket grants. You have to be able to document that this money is going exclusively for Texas veterans. But we have been able to make a huge impact.
All right, buddy, we got to go to a commercial break. So I got to tell you, when we come back, I want to continue that thought. Again, $30 million in grants that went to appropriate veteran service organizations from the Texas Veterans Commission as a result of the lottery. Now, let me tell you, I bought me a dollar lottery ticket this morning, and I look at it as an investment in our veterans. So this is Jim Blythe with the great Marine Chuck Wright. We're going to be right back after these words from all of our partners. You're listening to Alliance for the Brave. Here's part of the education, so stay with us. We're here for you. Okay. Hey, Marine. I thought that was fabulous. Thank you. You know, you're live on Facebook as well right now. So Don't
Oh,
make
are
any.
we live on Facebook?
We are live on Facebook.
Send an email.
Yeah, so do not
Hey, Facebook.
do not make any typical Marine Corps comments, please.
So did you like my joke at the Navy League?
Yes, I did. I thought that was terrific. And you know, one of the things when we were talking, Chuck, about getting involved, you got to stand up. We didn't have very big turnout, but boy, next time we will. But Chuck, almost every guy in there wanted your card and wanted to talk to you about business things, political things, things that you're involved in. That's how people should plug in. That's the benefit of the networking.
Yep. Yeah, in fact, one of the things that I'm doing right now is several of those people who gave me their cards, I'm emailing this morning. I've been trying to get some stuff done. But
boy, yeah, I know we've had our hands full. Now, when we come back, we've talked about Wreathes across America. I'd love to talk about Marine Corps League and Toys for Tots for a minute or two. I know you're not as heavily involved in that this year, but I think it's worth talking about, wouldn't you?
If you want to.
Okay, where do you want to go?
I'm not involved in Toys for Tots at all.
Okay, but excuse me, Marine Corps League. What do you want? Where do you want to go? Tell me where you want to go. Dallas Veterans Homeless Services and the Arley Army golf deal.
Why don't we talk about that?
All right.
That will be good.
You're listening to Alliance for the Brave, honoring, serving, and empowering those who serve our great country in the line of duty. Today's program is presented by Gear Services Web Design. Learn more about our mission and how you can plug in with us at allianceforthebrave.com. Now, back to the conversation.
Welcome back. This is Jim Blythe. I'm bringing this ship in to talk about all of these things that you can do to help you. And one of the big things is I'm promoting getting involved. I'm promoting networking by being involved in veteran service organizations. And joining me, my co-host, my great dear friend, Chuck Wright, certified financial planner. Chuck, tell them your website real quick or where people can go to find out about you.
Wow. I'm on LinkedIn. It's funny. My website's actually not up and running right now. I'm embarrassed to say. I guess I better get that fixed by the end of the year.
Well, if you want to know, call me, because let me tell you something.
Yeah, there we go.
That'll take care of it.
Talk
Now,
to Jim.
one of the things that you are heavily involved in is our Dallas Veterans Services facility down near the VA hospital, and doing that to support the Dallas Veterans Homeless Services. You put together an Arley Army golf tournament. Tell us a little bit about the Arley Army golf tournament and how veterans can plug in to network, because that's where you're going to find relationships that'll build jobs, correct?
Absolutely. I'm very proud of that work. And first, we probably should ask our listeners, you may or may not remember the name Arley Army. You are certainly going to remember Gunnery Sergeant Hartman from Full Metal Jacket. Arley Army became quite the actor. He had a lot of significant roles. He was in Apocalypse Now. He was in The Boys and Company C. He was the voice of the toy soldier in Toy Story. Absolutely a great man. And the thing about Arley, he was in fact a Vietnam-era Marine. He was a Marine drill instructor. He became an actor. But what most people don't know about him is his absolute dedication to our veterans and our guys in the military. He was absolutely beloved. Was a spokesman for Glock and several other national organizations, including Bosch Tools. So we're going to have a conversation with Bosch and hopefully get them back on board. But he used to, so there's a tie between the two organizations. Homeless Veteran Services of Dallas is the only dedicated homeless service center in the United States, or excuse me, in the state of Texas for our veterans, exclusively serving our veterans. It has served over 65,000 unique veterans. Now, and I always should say, because people think of it, they go, okay, well, you guys just handle homeless. Actually, we're at a full-blown veteran resource center at 4900 Lancaster, which is a couple blocks from the Dallas VA hospital. And for those who know that area of Dallas, it's not the best area of town, which is where the strongest need is. And that was started by Ken Waterston in 2004, another Vietnam-era Marine, through one of the board members, 12th Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps, Gene Overstreet. Ken got to meet Arlie Ermy. Arlie Ermy would come in and be the MC of their stakeholder dinner. Now, and I got to tell, I love to tell this story because most organizations, they'll spend a lot of money whining and dining their stakeholders. The Homeless Veteran Service Center in Dallas is very money conscious. We don't have huge amounts of money, and so we feed our stakeholders the same meals that we feed our homeless veterans. And the thing that's interesting is most of them go, you know what? I expected the food to be really bad. This wasn't horrible. The cooks that come down there, that dedicate their time, take a lot of pride in doing the best job they can. But that's how we got to know Arlie Ermy, and we created a golf tournament, the Arlie Ermy Memorial Classic. Sadly, we lost Arlie in 2019 to pneumonia, just before COVID hit.
Okay, Chuck, we're going to have to go to a break. Give us the website real quick where people can go and find out about that. Real quick.
GunnyGolf.com. GUNNY golf.
All right. And that supports the Dallas Homeless Veteran Services. That supports so much more than just homeless. So this is Jim Blythe with Chuck Wright. We are your Alliance for the Brave Dream Team today, bringing you education, information, and communication. Tune in, plug in, join in, be a part of the movement to bring this country together. Join us and be part of Alliance for the Brave. All right, Marine. Boy, that was good.
Hey.
We're tearing them up, man. Okay, where I want to go now, con tu permiso, is just a quick about using all of your resources if you're military and qualify, one of which is a huge cost for everybody is medical services. VA medical services are free if you're qualified, and that's a huge expense item to many, many people. Even if maybe you've got corporate insurance, this is a whole lot better and a whole lot cheaper. And that is a way to segue into this quick deal we're going to talk about of what Dr. Holt sent me this morning, or sent me last night and this morning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Jim,
Right.
real
Cool.
quick.
Yeah, Chris.
So when we come back, everything's fine. Show sounds great. Your music's going to play. I'm going to cut it off real quick because I have something for you prepared.
Oh, okay. So do I wait for you to do?
You'll know what to do once you hear it.
All right.
I'll leave it
got
at that.
Okay.
I was going to suggest that you do the Dr. Holt thing here and then continue talking with Chuck for the fourth segment because you can get all that.
We're going to get this in the beginning, or after he does this.
Okay.
We're going to jump into that, and then because the fourth segment is so short, that I really want to focus with Chuck on, what are you thankful for?
Oh, I'm sorry, I got them mixed up. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay.
That's what I meant.
Did you hear us, brother?
Sort of.
Okay. So this next segment is the big segment. Chris is going to play something right after the break. Then let's jump back in. And one of the things I want to segue is part of retirement, saving money. for the future using the VA medical system. And then I want to do this. I want to keep it focused, keep it short, so people get the message of the importance of using the VA healthcare system as part of not only retirement, but talk about some retirement strategies as well that you have. And, you know, your big one that I think is pay yourself first.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'd like to go in the next segment, kind of switch things around a little bit. Does that work with you?
Works for me. I'll follow your lead.
All right. So let's see what Chris has in store for us here in a couple of minutes.
Today's program is brought to you by Gear Services Web Design. Visit us on Facebook or online at allianceforthebrave.com. And now back to Alliance for the Brave.
Thank you, Chris, for that. Yeah, I just passed a big milestone. I'm 75 years young. And you know, one of the things is I'm so grateful for all of my friends. Like Chris O'Sullivan, I'm grateful for my wife, but I'm especially grateful to have a Marine as a friend who is one hell of a guy. Let me tell you, he is without a doubt the best devil dog I know. We're talking with...
You are way too kind.
Yeah, well, Chuck, you should be honored, and you were honored by Congressman Van Taylor with that congressional honor. I thought that was incredible, man.
And just again to correct you there, it was actually Dr. Michael Burgess.
Oh, okay.
And that was the 26th congressional district. I'm actually in Denton County, not Collin County.
Oh, well, I'm
just
planning
to correct
on
that. But I am friends with Van Taylor. I have a lot of respect for Van Taylor. I actually heard his story of what he did in Iraq, and he is legitimately. We jokingly say that he was born with a silver spoon in his mouth, and there's a little bit of truth to that. But he earned his stripes as a first lieutenant in the Marine Corps and came back with what I think typical Marine Corps fashion. He should have had a higher award, but I have no doubt he pushed that on to his fellow Marines. I have nothing but respect for Van Taylor.
Isn't that great? All right, Chuck, I want to talk about something because Dr. Stephen Holt, who's the director of the VA North Texas, sent me an email this morning, and I think it's important because here's the segue. We're talking about retirement. We're talking about being plugged in. We're talking about making your budget work, cash flow. So one of the biggest expenses most people have is medical. And people talk about, I say, go check, you can check into the VA, you can get the VA services. They're fantastic. This is not the same VA that was 10 years ago. And so one of the things he sent me is that as a result of COVID, the VA had significantly lower excess mortality, preventable deaths than the non-veteran community, 17% versus 23%. That's a difference of 35%. That shows you the excellence of the VA healthcare system, which a lot of people don't understand that or don't know that. And let me tell you something, though. A lot of the veterans are seniors or older veterans, and they have 3 to 5 times more chronic medical conditions than non-veterans the same age. So we're working with a much higher risk population. VA had significantly better outcomes, and they attributed that to the aggressive approach they took, which continues in managing COVID today. So the first thing Dr. Holt always says to me, hey, Jim, have you had your booster shot? You bet. I feel like a pincushion, Dr. Holt. I've had all 3 plus my flu shot plus my shingles shot, and I probably need to go get a tetanus shot because I hang around Marines, and you know what that can lead to. So,
oh, absolutely. You might want to go get 2 tetanus shots.
Could well be. So again, we think is so important that if you are eligible, you get plugged into the VA. Again, those are benefits you earned. They can save you a lot of money, but they can save your life. And I think that's incredibly important. And Chuck, as a financial advisor, you're trying to get these young men and women who are coming out to build a retirement strategies. And one of the things you said to me is pay yourself first. So Chuck, tell us a little bit about the financial strategies that you put together to create cash flow.
Well, and you just listed my number one, especially when I'm talking to young people, but it's really everybody. And I'm going to make this real easy to pay yourself first, because most working people, and we're going to break this up between working people, non-working people, have access to a 401k or some kind of retirement savings plan. And if you're not putting money in, go in. You know, we're coming up on January, and say, hey, 2%. I'm going to start with 2%. If you're under 50, increase that by 1% every year. Make that a January goal that you go in and say, hey, I'm going to go from 2% to 3%. I'm going to go to 3% to 4%. And I'm going to make you this promise. You're not going to notice that 2% coming out of your check. It is going to be irrelevant. And then when you go to a 1% increase, well, again, you don't notice it, because now the change is only 1%. You're already used to the 2% coming in, and you just keep building and building and building. Excuse me, sorry about that. I better go get another COVID shot to go with the 2 or 3 that I've had already. It just keeps building. But here's the other thing, and I always tell people to do a percentage, because guess what is also going up? Odds are your salary is getting higher and higher and higher. And if you go to another job, start wherever you left off. It's really great if I catch somebody who, like my son, who has taken his first job, and I'm saying, son, you're never going to miss it. Now, if you're over 50, especially if your 401k looks more like a 201k, I'm going to ask you to go a little higher. I'm going to ask you to start at 3% and go up by 2% every year. Because no offense, but you're running out of time. Now, the other side of that equation, I am seeing more and more people like myself, like you. Happy birthday, 75 years old. You're still working. Why? You don't have to, but you enjoy it. And it's amazing what happens. So plan on working to 70. Or plan on working to 60, but just figure out what you're going to need. But you're going to have to put more and more money away. So pay yourself first. One of the best books out there, I wish I'd written it. It's called The Automatic Millionaire. It's an easy, short read, which is perfect for Marines. But it is chock full of really good advice. Now, I want to go to number 2. And in these days that we are seeing the highest inflation in 30 years, and I don't care about your politics, inflation is a fact. And let me tell you something. They say they're going to flood the market with more money, trying to get this new bill passed. That has never happened, that it hasn't led to more inflation. So the number 2 item on my checklist, the number 2 item is debt is the killer. Debt destroys more financial plans than anything but divorce. Divorce and debt, the 2 Ds, double Ds. Diane will slap me later for that one. A little innuendo there, trying to wake up the crowd a little bit. But debt is the killer. So if you can get out of debt, develop a plan. And is it the next year? Is it the next 2 years? But you get yourself out of debt, and all of a sudden, boom, there's cash flow. There is cash flow.
Boy, let me tell you, you're preaching to the choir with my wife on that one. Let me interject something just a second to back up what you're saying.
Absolutely.
95% of the people entering retirement in the United States have nothing but Social Security. I know. I'm a certified senior advisor. I counsel families on being able to use your home as an asset in what I do, and I work for Fairway. That's why we're sponsors of this program. But Chuck, I see so much devastation. You're talking about the 401k that's now a 201k. I see pensions that have been blown away, lawsuits filed against the pensioners to basically get rid of the pension. The costs are huge. 401ks, they put money into the market, and guess what? all kinds of things that people are doing don't necessarily provide that security and cash flow. You're not going to be needing as big a pile of money as much as you're going to be needing cash flow. And I think that part of what you do is creating a financial plan using some of the tools, which we bought some insurance programs that are annuities that have home health care down the road, annuities that create income. Here's one of the big things in retirement. If you are qualified, you can have benefits down the road if you become disabled to get the aid and attendance benefit pension from the VA. You can also provide benefits for your spouse. Try and protect that spouse and help them. So when you're looking at all of this, it's a total package. And somebody says, well, hey, Jim, I live out in Mineral Wells. I live out in West Texas. I live up in Oklahoma. Well, you know what? They've got telemedicine. That's one of the reasons they were able to be as successful as they were in fighting COVID, is because they had telemedicine and they had partnerships that they could help people and guide people. And you can, if you're in the VA healthcare system, go to a normal hospital and the VA will pay for it. So all of these things are using your assets, your healthcare system. What I work with, your home asset. What's your biggest asset, Chuck? Typically.
Your house.
Yeah. What's your biggest expense?
Your house.
So, and that's what Chuck helps you do, is go through and understand where you are and build a financial plan. He did it for my mother-in-law. He's done it for Diane and I, and that's one of the things that I think is so important. I became a member of the National Association of the Investment Financial Advisors to learn more, and Chuck already knew it. Chuck was doing what I needed to be done. So that
might have been one of the biggest compliments you've given me, is that you walked in, a true story, Jim walked in and said, man, you went through all this training, and they were talking about all of the things that should be done, and you've done it for us.
Yeah. And I think that's important. So when we're talking about financial independence in retirement, here's another good book from Doug Nordman, The Military Guide to Financial Independence in Retirement. I'll post this up on our website, Alliance for the Brave. I got to tell you, you don't have to live on sustenance, or you don't have to be so frugal. You've got to have the opportunity to have a decent lifestyle, and you earned it. And I'm going to tell you something. This is a scare tactic. Sounds like a scare tactic, Chuck, but I was on a call the other day, and a lady who works for a major university and done a lot of research said, because of the spending, because of the huge national debt, by 2030, they're going to have to cut Social Security, she says, by as much as a third. Much as a third. So if you had $2,400 a month Social Security, you're going to lose $800 of that. What would that do to your family if you're living on a minimal budget? When one of the two spouses passes away, you lose the lesser of the two Social Security. So having this kind of planning, going to Chuck Wright, is going to help you. I am advocate of, whether it's Chuck Wright or you're in Virginia, find somebody that's a member of NAFA, find somebody that can help you, find somebody from Fairway that specializes in reverse that can help you. You got to start planning. We have to change how retirement is thought of and how retirement is handled in this nation, and we've got to do it in lockstep as veterans to lead the way. And Chuck, your 2 cents on that one?
I could not agree more. You said it well. I know we're getting close to the top of the hour. One thing that I want to say that you talk about that I think is critically important, and a challenge I want to put out, it's the same challenge I made when you asked me to speak to the Navy League on Thursday. Charlie Mike, continue the mission. Veterans have always taken a leadership position in America. whether it's when they get out, whether it's at work, whether it's in their community. I challenge all of our veterans to get plugged in somehow, be it through your service, be it through some of the amazing veteran organizations out there, groups like Carry the Load, which is a supporter of a ton of organizations. There are Sheepdogs, there are Patriot Paws. My friend Jake Schick is the CEO of the One Tribe Foundation. You may know them as 22Kill. Whether you do it just to feel good about yourself, whether you do it for the camaraderie, or just to be around fellow veterans, quite frankly, there's nothing I like better than hanging out with veterans.
You bet. Now, I'll tell you what, let's do. When we come back, I'm going to hang out with my veteran Marine who takes care of me and my family and helping us with financial planning. I want to talk to you more about what we're thankful for. So this is Jim Blythe and Chuck Wright. We are Alliance for the Brave today. We are bringing you education and information. Stick around. It's still going to be fun in just a second. Thank you for being part of Alliance for the Brave. Hear what Diane said?
Something about you leave everybody hanging all the time.
Oh, no, points. We made the point. Yeah, really. Thank you, Marine. We talked about pay yourself first. We talked about debt. You had a couple of other points you wanted to make real quick.
Yes.
What are they? Diane says.
Manage risk.
All right.
Most people invest either too aggressively or too conservatively. Find out what your risk tolerance is and invest it that way because you make money in the market.
Okay, that's number 3. What's number 4?
Going down the list. You were talking about medical insurance and long-term care. Make sure that you protect yourself.
Okay.
You know, be it long-term care, be it medical insurance, but have a plan for it.
All right. When we come back, Chuck, let's hit these 2 things, and then I want to talk to you about what you're thankful for, and I think that's hugely important because this program not only is carried nationwide and is on Facebook, but we're going to rebroadcast it on Thanksgiving. So Chris O'Sullivan can take the day off, I can take the day off, and we can have a whole lot of fun next weekend. Maybe we could get together and do some backyard grilling and chilling.
Hold on.
That sounds great.
Has Diane approved our time off? She's the boss.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. Robin, too.
Who?
Who?
Robin's like, half hemisphere away from here. Diane's like right here. I don't want any problems.
No, let me tell you. You are doing so great, Chris, and we're having fun. And thank you for the happy birthday. I appreciate it.
Hold on, I gotta get this squared away. Mrs. Blythe, can we have Thanksgiving off? Is that? Oh. I don't have to go say those town memories now. I feel better.
Hey, you know what? As a kid growing up, my dad served on the board of directors of the Dallas Cowboys because his boss was an owner.
Right.
And every Thanksgiving, my mother's family and my family would get all bent out of shape because Thanksgiving Day was tailgate out at Texas Stadium.
You know what? Same thing up in Detroit because because that's where I grew up. The alleged NFL team up there, they're the other Thanksgiving team along with the Cowboys.
Yeah.
So. Which, by the way, next Thursday, whoever they're playing, I think it's Our Lady of the Blessed Order. Go ahead and take Our Lady of the Blessed Order by 12 points.
The Los Angeles Raiders. Or no, the Las Vegas Raiders.
Las Vegas Raiders.
Is that who we're playing next week?
Yep.
I mean, this weekend?
On Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
I know Wayne wished he could have been here.
I tell you what, I'm not sure I'd gamble on that one.
Here we go, fellas.
All right.
You're listening to Alliance for the Brave, honoring, serving, and empowering those who serve our great country in the line of duty. Today's program is presented by Gear Services Web Design. Learn more about our mission and how you can plug in with us at allianceforthebrave.com. Now, back to the conversation.
Well, I'm about to bring this ship into the dock. This is Jim Blythe, and joining me, Marine SAR pilot. Man, I got to tell you, you beat the air into submission with those helicopters because they are not supposed to fly. Chuck Wright, my great friend, he and I do the same thing but different things. He is a financial advisor. I'm a senior consultant in residential lending, basically reverse mortgage, helping people. You can look me up on jimblythe.net. You can look me up on Alliance for the Brave. You can look up Chuck on LinkedIn, Chuck Wright, Certified Financial Planner. Chuck, you had two more things that I want to hit real quick. You were talking about risk, number 3.
Yes. So we're going to get into and I often compare what I do to being a dentist. And you think about it, nobody wants to go see the dentist. You hate going to the dentist. It's, there's a little bit of pain involved. But you know what? If you go to your dentist on a regular basis, you go see him twice a year, you get your cleanings, you brush your teeth, you floss, guess what? You get to be Jim Blythe's age, and you still got all of your original teeth. And
which
that's
I
a good
do.
thing.
Which I do.
There we go. So one of the things that I do when I sit down with clients is I do a real simple, it's a little bit of a Kentucky windage style assessment. I analyze their risk. And I have found people tend to hit the extremes. They're either invested way too aggressively, especially for their risk tolerance, or way too conservatively. And so one of the things we do is that we build portfolios that get our way too conservative clients with some money in the market. Yes, I know it's a little bit scary, but the returns are there, and we're going to be there to hold your hand, and we're going to talk about strategies that will work regardless of what the markets do. Now, this is not a guarantee. Full disclaimer, I don't want the FINRA guys calling me and saying, you can't say that. I'm not guaranteeing returns. But what I am saying is that statistically over time, these are proven, solid approaches to a real investment strategy. And I am shocked. I literally was doing it yesterday with a guy, and he's been with a friend of the family for 25 years, and they're afraid to leave him. And he says, well, it's really my wife. She's a strong emotional attachment to this young man. He says, but every time I talk to you, I learn something. We've never heard any of this stuff from him. And so, there's an element of break your comfort zone, and that's part of what risk is about. The next thing, which is step 4, and this is the thing nobody ever wants to talk about. Trust me, you get more people walking away from you at a cocktail party if you start to bring up insure yourself adequately. And when I say that, I say you have a plan for medical insurance. You have a plan for long-term care insurance, which is becoming harder and harder to get and more expensive. So there are solutions to that problem depending on your circumstances. There are some people who just can't get long-term care coverage. I wish there was something I could do about that, but there isn't. But for everybody else, there is a plan. So I wanted to hit on those two to add to the 4 that we talked about already.
So we got a couple of minutes left. Very quickly. I'm very thankful for my friends and my family and my veteran buddy this holiday season we're coming into. What are you thankful for, Marine?
Well, I'm going to start out, I'll be a little self-serving here, but I am thankful for the friendship that I have developed over the years with you and Diane. It has been absolutely wonderful. We don't get to see each other enough. And I'm going to talk about, and you can appreciate this, as you know, I came back.
1 minute left, buddy. So let's just say, hey, go to our websites. I want to close with a quick prayer. Lord God, thank you for men like Chuck Wright, veterans who lead the way. Thank you for protecting our veterans. Thank you, Lord, for protecting our active duty military and our first responders who do so much to take care of us. And thank you for our VA healthcare system and men like Dr. Stephen Holt and Dr. Wendell Jones who guide and direct so that we can have better numbers than the civilians. This is Jim Blythe saying thank you for being on board. Thank you, Lord Jesus. Amen. And Chuck, thank you, buddy, for being on board. This was Alliance for the Brave. We'll be back next week with more education and information for you on Alliance for the Brave.